sure it would do. And then with a little bit of lube, like always, the connection fittings are on the spreadsheet. I'm gonna have to try and figure out how I can sort this pipe out so it doesn't hit. Yeah, it's nice to see the car going back together. Welcome back, guys. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at fitting the inlet manifold, some AN lines for the water feed for the turbo, injectors, the plugs for that, some rewiring, and yeah, seeing if we've got any clearance issues with the throttle body with the new inlet manifold. Check out the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and add any comments. Tell me what you want to hear. If you want me to cover something in more detail, just let me know. And thank you very much for your support, guys. So guys, I'm just gonna wire up the injectors now. It's pretty dark out here, but it's quite hot during the day in the UK at the moment. So the only time I really get to spend outside on the driveway is sort of later at night. So I'm gonna solder the pigtails for the injectors onto the main harness. I've stripped away the protective coating from the harness, and I'm just gonna snip here. And I'm going to wire on the pigtails. So for this one, for my injectors, I've got the Bosch 550 injectors, and if you look inside, you probably won't see it in there, but there is a plus sign inside the injector. Let's see if I can get it in the way. I don't know if you can quite see it. That plus sign needs to be matched to the, in my case, the black and red wire, which is the fatter out of the two on the harness. So each one has a black and a red. That needs to be soldered to the positive from the injector. And in my case, for my pigtails, the positive is the red. You just need to make sure that that's the case for whatever, for your application as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip down here, and then I'm going to snip up here somewhere. I'm going to try and solder these two together. Fingers crossed it doesn't go all wrong and doesn't look messy like a spider's web, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to trim the wires down here to the length that I want. I'm going to then tin each wire, both sides, and then solder them together. Not the prettiest of solders, but I'm sure it would do. So I'm just going to do the rest of them now, guys, all 6 of them, and then let's see how they get on. So I've got all the connections soldered up now. I'm going to go back and tape up the connections probably tomorrow now. It's a bit dark to be out here doing it now. So they're all connected, as you can see, all soldered up. They all have some shrink tubing around the solder connection. So guys, this is the oil filter housing here. There's a M10 bolt just here, where you can see I've got the banjo bolt just here. So I've just replaced that with a M10 by 1mm to a 4 AN line. So that's going to run the oil feed for my turbo. There will be an inline filter to filter the oil, because this is unfiltered oil here. So there will be a filter, and as long as you check it every now and then, you should be good. If you are taking it from this source here, just do it at your own risk. There's other places you can do. You can either drill and tap into the clean side of this filter housing, or take it from the tensioner. But this was kind of the easiest for me, and I didn't want to restrict the flow from the tensioner, so I've taken it from here. Here's the oil feed for the turbo. It's a restricted inlet because it's a ball bearing turbo, so the oil inlet is there. I'm just going to tighten this down because it's still loose, and then I'm going to attach the oil drain fitting there, which I do now. So here is the oil drain. It's the 10AN fitting, or dash 10 fitting, whatever you want to call it. It's got a gasket that goes with it as well, and it's a simple case of just screwing them in with the gasket in between. Like always, the connection fittings are on the spreadsheet, so if you want to know which one to get. That's the fitting there for the drain. So I got this fitting from JAT Engineering, as you can see from the card. It's a connection for the VW OEM sort of heater core adapter, so it will plug straight into the heater core, and then you can connect a M10 by 1mm to you know, whatever you want, whether you want a MPT or an AN fit in. So it should just be a case of lifting this clip up here and putting the new bung in. Try and get it on camera for you. Got the clip out here, and then this should just pop out. And there's the bung. And here's the O-clip, the O-ring. So here's the JAT Engineering one, and here's the OEM. So it's just going to go in exactly the same, except for now I can screw in my AN6 fitting. So I've done that up now. It's all done up nice and tight. I'm just going to put it back in the hole. I've lubricated the O-ring with a bit of WD-40 just to help it go in nicely. Just push it all the way in there and get your clip and push it down on, and that will hold it in. And there you go, that's that done. So I'm just going to replace this pipe here. It kind of gets in the way of the turbo, so I'm just going to run a straight piece of pipe from here all the way to the feed up here, and then put the T somewhere around here so that I can tee that back into the turbo return. So I've got some 8mm internal ID hose here to replace what's there at the moment. I'm just going to measure an amount and then chop it.
Out of your way, I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me, well then baby,
there's the one off. So I've got the T-piece in there, I've got the clips.
But I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today.
So the return will run along here, back into the tank.
We'll choose to stay through all the pain.
Right now guys, we're just going to do the water lines. I've got some PTFE stainless steel AN6 hose here, and I'm just going to put some connections on. I've already done one off camera to see what it's like. It seems to fit fine, so I'm just going to do the other end now on camera, and so you guys can see how I get on. So what I've done here guys is I've got the stainless steel braided line here, and I've just sellotaped where it needs to be cut. So what I've done is I've wrapped the sellotape really tight around here, so that when I cut it, it doesn't fray on me, it doesn't open up and fray while I'm cutting it. This is less important on PTFE because you kind of have to fray the stainless to get the olive fitting in there. So for non-PTFE lines, it's more important to do this. So I've got a cutting blade on the grinding disc. I'm just going to cut all the way through and fit the other fitting. How the stainless hasn't sort of frayed out on you, opened up. That's what you want, especially for non-PTFE pipe. It's less important for PTFE pipe. So I've got my AN line here with my AN fitting, just here. So this is a PTFE fitting, which comes with a collet insert. So essentially peel back this stainless steel a little bit, the insert goes over the white plastic, and then that goes in like that, and then we screw it in sort of like that, which traps it. Make sure you got the nut on before you start splaying the stainless steel. So just splay that out a little bit, and then push the collar collar or whatever it's called over the white, and then with a little bit of lube, because we know how much lube works and helps. A little bit of lube. Just got to push that in there now, making sure that we're not going to bend the plastic in there. If it looks like it wants to bend a little bit, just put a screwdriver in and flatten it out. And then, so it might take some effort. I had to clamp it down and push down, but once it's sit home like that, get the other end, push the wire together, like that, and then push that up, and you'll start seeing the threaded bit. So thread it on a 2 is as much as you can, and when that's done, get a vise, put some tape around the vise jaws to tape it up to stop, you know, you want to try and save the nut from being damaged. And then get yourself the 6AN. I found a 19 spanner works fine. You can get special aluminum ones, but you don't need them. That's that cable done. So you can still turn it in there, and that won't leak for anything. That's both sides done. So we're going to do the water return now, which is from this pipe here to up here. So I'm just going to mock up some cable to see how long roughly I need. The cable, this pipe, so got the fitting here, the fitting on the end. Just loosely for now, and then just measure roughly how much I'm going to need. Probably around that much there. So we'll mark it, then we'll get it cut. So I've got the return line all made up now. Just going to plumb it in, see if it fits.
I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
So the return line comes off a 45 up to a T to the return into the tank. So guys, I'm out here at the moment. I have tried to fit the short runner intake, and with the throttle body on, it hits this wiring loom here and this hose. So the wiring loom sort of sits like that, and it really hits. So what I'm gonna have to do is lengthen these wires here that go to the oil pressure, the auxiliary water pump, knock sensor, etc. So I have to lengthen these to get this so it sits on the other side of the pipe, and I have to try and figure out how I can sort this pipe out so it doesn't hit. I'll show you guys how it hits and how it fits once I've sort of figured it out. So guys, while I'm down here, I just wanted to point out something that one of the commenters on one of my last videos said about this not being a how-to guide, and that is absolutely correct. This was never meant to be a how-to guide, how to turbo your R32. This was my journey, my process. Come along with me, see the problems I face, and you know, hopefully I've taught someone something, or helped them with their build, and trying to show people that this can be done at home. It doesn't need to be ultra money. When you hear figures of 10-15 grand to turbo your R32, that's correct if you were to take it to a place and do it, but you can do it at home on your driveway like I'm doing with the basic tools. So like I say, this isn't a how-to guide, this is me, this is my journey, and I wanted to document it so you guys could see what I was doing and hopefully help you as well. So here's our problem. The outlet of the radiator pipe hits on the throttle body, and I mean, look how much gap we've got there. I mean, there's no way I'm going to get it fitted on that. I mean, they're good looking in inlet manifolds, but I can't believe no one has made one of these that just points out that direction a little bit more. I don't know. Yeah, it also looks like this metal clip's going to need to be cut down. So so I can't use this clip retainer. It gets in the way of the boost pipe coming down, so it's basically hit it as it's coming down, and just need to probably pin some of this stuff back because the boost pipe will be coming straight down, or maybe even, yeah, probably straight down. So I'm just going to do some degreasing of the engine bay while it's still apart a little bit, and the radiator I'm going to degrease and spray with the jet washer. Hopefully tidy up a bit of the engine bay while it's apart.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away.
So I've got a snow foam cannon here, guys. It's a 50-50 mix of some snow foam and the gunk degreaser. And it snowed! So I used the snow foam cannon and snow foam to basically allow the degreaser to sit on top and not run away so quickly, because it was drying up really quickly before. So hopefully this will work. And then we have it, guys, all jet washed off. It's a lot cleaner than it was before. As you guys can see, there's still some parts of it that's not clean, but 100 times better than what it was before. So I have lengthened the wires for the sensors here so that I can run the loom on the opposite side of this pipe. So originally this loom here would run this side of the pipe, but the throttle body hits, so I've extended these sensors probably by about 6 inches, 5 or 6 inches, just so I can run them on the other side of the pipe. So that will clear for the throttle body for the sensors, and then I just need to put the banjo bolt in for this piece here because I can no longer use a straight AN fitting. So I'm going to do that now, get the inlet manifold on, job done. And that is all fitted, as you can see. I had to shave off a little bit just behind here, and you guys can see literally like a millimetre, just so that the collar of this wasn't hitting the plastic bit. But yeah, all done. So I'm just going to drill and tap these threads here for the brake line booster, the vacuum box and the charcoal canister. I've got one 8mm fitting for the charcoal canister and two 10mm fittings, one for the brake booster and one for the vacuum box here. So I'm just going to drill and tap that. And here's the vacuum box. So I'll have a 10mm pipe going in this end, and then all the other ports for the vacuum lines can come from this location. So I'm probably going to do 2 in this port here and 1 in here. So I've got a 10.5mm drill bit here and a M12 by 1.5 tap to suit these threads here. So make sure you get whatever tap and that suits these threads, or whatever tap you have.
Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt.
Generally, guys, I wouldn't use a drill to do the tapping on this, but it wasn't long enough for me to get it in the jaws of the vise, so I had to go ahead with a drill. Do that at your own risk. And that's that done up quite tight there. That's the first one in, so I can get the other 2 in the other side, and yeah, finish this bit up.
Told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a build-up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so...
So then guys, I've plumbed up the charcoal box and the brake booster, and this is the line for the vacuum station box that I'll probably run over there somewhere. So they're all plumbed in now. These are a 10mm hose. The blue ones are 10mm hoses, 10mm diameter, and it's an 8mm one for the charcoal box. I want to try and keep it. If I don't, then I'll just have to block it off, but otherwise it's all plumbed in there and cable tied up so it doesn't hit the hit anything here. But yeah, that's all done. So I've redone my brake booster pipe here. It comes all the way up around down here. Here's the one-way valve. Stop the boost pressure going into the brake booster, and then up into the inlet manifold here. So that's the front end on, guys. It's only bolted on a little bit. I just wanted to check for clearance for boost pipes and stuff, and also for the fan around the throttle body. A lot of the Mark IV people, I think, have clearance issues, but there's plenty of space between the throttle body and the fan there, so I don't need to worry about that. But yes, everything's on there. Brand new condenser. Cleaned out the radiator because that was pretty much new anyway. And yeah, it's nice to see the car going back together. So guys, that'll be it for this episode. We've got the inlet manifold on. We've got some of the vac lines plumbed in. Got the inlet manifold painted. Injectors wired up. The wiring extended. We've done quite a bit. Next episode, I'm waiting for a TIG welder to come. So treated myself to TIG welder. So I need to modify the exhaust, fabricate the screamer pipe, and do the boost pipe. So originally I was going to get the boost pipes and the exhaust all done by someone else, a professional. I've had a little bit of welding experience myself, but for the cost of getting someone else to do it, I could get myself a TIG welder, and then I got a TIG welder for the rest of my TIG welder's life. So I thought that would be the better way to go and learn how to TIG alley and stainless steel. So it's a learning exercise for me. It's all fun, it's all part of the learning. So look out for the next episode. That'll be mainly the fabrication, and hopefully in the next episode get the car running.
As you fade